All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Los Angeles Rams in tonight's video. Now, obviously, their free agency was headlined by Devonte Adams signing on a 2-year, $46 million contract. Cooper Kupp no longer with the Rams. He is now with the Seattle Seahawks, but they re-signed Tutu Atwell. They bring in some more ammo on the offensive line in Coleman Shelton, bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. Puna Ford, A+ move. The Rams are, first off, a really good football team, and they're only getting better. And their development of specifically their defensive line, their offensive line as well. It's a really talented group, as demonstrated last year when they went 10-7 and held their own. Only lost to 6 in the snow against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they even had a shot to win that football game. So, I love it. Devonte Adams. I'm a Packers fan, my former Packer. I love it. And the Rams are just such an interesting team. Sean McVay, really interesting team. So, folks, welcome back. Before we get into tonight's video, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I did do a Devonte Adams Rams video a little over a week ago. You guys have made so many moves since then that I have to talk about it. And we'll start it off with Coleman Shelton. So Coleman's returning, obviously he played for the Rams from 2019 to 2023. He spent just one lone season with the Chicago Bears, but he's coming off the highest graded season of his career. He earned a 68.6 PFF grade, and he improved significantly as a pass rusher. He allowed just a 3.8% pressure rate over. That was over 2 percentages higher than 2023 when he was the Rams starter. So really improved in that aspect. And he also started all 17 games for the Chicago Bears, earned a season best 66.4 overall PFF grade, and only allowed 3 sacks and 26 total pressures. So he's going to have an opportunity to, technically win the center position in training camp. But regardless, as the guy saw a couple of years ago, he's so versatile. He can play all across the offensive line, and it's just good ammo to have. Familiar face as well. Puna Ford. This is one of my favorite value moves, or like under the radar, underrated type of signings of free agency, because Puna was an absolute animal for the Los Angeles Chargers last year. You guys snagged him on a 3-year, $29.6 million contract. $17 million of that is guaranteed. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a tell of how highly the Los Angeles Rams organization view Puna Ford. There's a lot left in that tank, man. Last season, he had 8 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, and a pressure rate of 7%, but he only played 55% of defensive snaps. So when he was on the field, the dude was an absolute animal. He gets to stay in the state of California, going from the Chargers to the Rams. But the Rams, I'm sure, because they allowed 100+ rushing yards in all but 4 games last season, they wanted him because of his run defense. This guy is an absolute animal. He placed 3rd amongst defensive tackles with an 80.3 PFF run defensive grade. So the Rams last season were really good at getting to the quarterback, right? But they could not stop the run. They were just 22nd in the National Football League in rush defense. They gave up about 130 rushing yards per game. And Puna Ford comes in here. He's going to be a day 1 starter on the interior defensive line. And folks, you guys are going to absolutely love him. And he still has a bunch of untapped potential as far as getting to the QB goes, as demonstrated with the 3 sacks and 9 quarterback hits. And then, real quick, man, we'll talk about it because it was one of the cooler moves of free agency thus far, and that's Devonte Adams. 2-year, $44 million contract, $26 million of that is guaranteed. Now, last year, he split it between the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Jets. So 2 of the worst offenses, not only in the AFC, but in the National Football League. Devonte still had 8 touchdowns and 1,063 yards last season. He's 6'1", 215 pounds. He's got 5 seasons with more than 100 catches and 6 seasons with more than 1,000 yards and at least 10 touchdowns. So he's one of the best in the business. And I get it. He is now 32 years old, but he's just a wide receiver too. Right now, he's like one of the best wide receiver 2 in the National Football League. And, God forbid if Puka, gets injured, tweaks something, they want to rest him, whatever the precautions, whatever the word is. Devonte comes in here and he's still perfectly capable wide receiver number 1. But he will be wide receiver 2 next season. He averaged 2.04 yards per route run last season, which was tied for 27th amongst all wide receivers in 2024. So he's got plenty of gas left in the tank. And 32 is really not even old, even if you're a wide receiver in the National Football League. But Matt Stafford, Puka Nakua, Kyron Williams, and Devonte Adams, and speedster threat in Tutu Atwell. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tutu breaks out this upcoming season. Feels like he's been on the verge, especially last year. But the point is, Matt Stafford, really solid offensive line, great stud left tackle. You got a good run game. I like Blake Corum a lot as well. The missing piece to me is the tight end position. And I've seen you guys mocked a couple of times in the first round, actually snagging a tight end of the future. Let me know your thoughts down below if you're a Rams fan. What's your thoughts on the tight end room? Just let me know that down below. And then finally, this actually happened like later last night. Nate Landman. All right. So obviously the Rams lost Christian Roseboom, and that absolutely sucks because he was one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. So it's time to kind of load it, right? Nate turns 27 in November, and he's played 36 games with the Atlanta Falcons. He started in 23 of those, and in his career, he has 192 total tackles, 2 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 6 forced fumbles, 1 interception in his young career. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, and he's also been pretty solid in run defense over the past 2 seasons. He had a missed tackle rate of just 10.4% and 21 stops in the running game last season. So that, to me, schematically, as far as what the Rams needed to bring in, run defense, guys who can stop the run, and Puna Ford and especially Nate Landman, that combo fit the bill. But also, just speaking of that room in general, the Rams 100,000% at this point to the draft will address it, whether it's more free agency, talent, depth pieces, and then especially the draft if they haven't done that. So I'm not concerned with the linebacker room at all because I think linebackers usually are a byproduct of a really good defensive coordinator, a really good defensive scheme. Coaching plays a big role in linebackers, but Nate's a very good football player. Last season, in only 9 starts, had a little IR stint. He had 81 total tackles and 3 forced fumbles. So, folks, that's all I got for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post at least like 1 Rams video every single week. Let me know if you guys want me to up my game. But I'm curious on 2 things. Give me a grade for the Rams free agency thus far. They've been, one of the bigger winners, in my opinion, in the entire NFL. And then give me some draft/free agency targets as far as positional groups go. Let me know what areas you want the Rams to improve on. Thank you for watching. That's it for me. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you soon. Peace.